Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcore Guides bringing you my Splatterhouse Brutal Difficulty No Upgrade Run. Today we are doing Phase 9 entitled The Ruined Heart, and that's going to be literal because the final, I guess you could say the boss of the stage is the heart, because I think every phase kind of has like some boss of some sort, and whether or not it's like a mini boss or not, yeah, this one you mostly just fight like other enemies around it, but still, I would still consider the heart as like the technical boss of this stage. And then after this one, we're gonna get to the Wicker Bride and what have you. Also, I'm trying to pump these out as fast as I can, considering the fact that a lot of these levels right now are starting to kind of get a lot shorter than the other chapters beforehand. We're finally starting to get really close to the end game. I think chapter 11 is the only one that I can think of out of these next 3-4 or so levels are going to be really short, because I believe phase 8 was short. I think that was the start of them starting to kind of shorten down a bit. I think it was like a 15-minute video, and this one I think is the same thing too. It's like 15 minutes. And after this, it's going to be like a good whopping 5, maybe 10-minute video, and then after that should be a longer one, and then after that would be like a really short one with the final boss. So at least short in terms of gameplay. I don't know how long I'm going to talk through it at the very end, but it is what it is. So yeah, I've been kind of like trying to go through these and pumping them out. I uploaded, I believe, 3 yesterday, and right now it's 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. So I'm thinking like, well, you know what, it's technically a different day, so I guess I'll just upload 3 more. And yeah, it might get a little spammy, and I do apologize for that. I know I tend to kind of do that sometimes, but when you get so close to just being done, you kind of just want to batch upload and just have these things finished. And to be fair, since this is technically a different day, I guess you can kind of consider it as that, a different day. If anything, I can always just schedule. If I happen to do more than 3 right now, I could just schedule them for tomorrow and then just have them be done and finished. So that way nobody gets too overwhelmed with them, but I kind of just want to see these things be done, and who knows? Maybe, people might not mind that too much. I don't know. I try to consider everybody's feelings, because I understand that when you have somebody who uploads like a ton, especially if you have bell notifications on, it might get really irritating see this pop up like every 5 or so minutes. But if I ever do upload, it's usually like within like batches, kind of, or typically at least 1 every couple of hours or so. And then I try not to upload more than 3 a day. That's kind of the idea. But yeah, I would understand why it would get annoying having to see somebody upload so much. Especially, seeing that somebody uploaded like 10 videos I saw. I was doing some digging around on somebody that, left a comment, and then I was checking out their content. And because that's what I do, I'm weird like that. And I was checking out their content to see what they do. And I noticed that they upload like 10 videos a day, just trying to break the algorithm, and I'm guessing that would have to be the case. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And then they're getting mad about other people getting mad at them uploading so often. It's like, dude, you're uploading 10 a day. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, my uploads are very inconsistent, and then when I do upload, I tend to upload quite a few, especially if I'm definitely going at a good pace. And then I upload like quite a few of them at once. But yeah, I guess another thing to keep in mind is, even though it's 1 o'clock for me, it might be like, who knows what time it is for anybody else right now. So it might just be still midday, and they've probably seen like 4 uploads in one day. But at least in terms of my time period, it's 1 o'clock in the morning while I'm recording this commentary, because I am really bad at falling asleep sometimes. And yeah, so I just want to get some of these done, man. I really want to get some of these done. Especially this one, and then the next one right after, because these next couple of 2 are going to be quite small episodes. Now, whether or not I'm going to stay up all night waiting for them to render, I don't know. Especially this one, because this one probably take like an hour and a half to render probably, and the other one's going to take probably like a good 45, 30 minutes. Is my guess. But that's all a bunch of technical talk stuff. And let's be honest, I don't think anybody really wants to hear all the technicals, right? You guys want to see me beat up some splatters and kill some, or at least, you know, fist some assholes and kill some of these monsters or whatever. So, yeah. This chapter in specific, I guess I could talk about, is a little bit of a small tad irritating one, but it's only irritating in the very fact that we are going to have to deal with a new enemy type. A new version of the Forgotten that shows up that is practically invincible to literally everything else except for like very specific attacks. Because this game is very strange with a lot of things it does. And when I say I understand the jank of this game, I don't mean that, you know, I mean, I do. I'm trying to say this in a specific way. I mean that literally. I do understand a lot of the jank that this game has. And I'm not kidding when I do say I get the jank, you know, because I know how to use it for the most part, and I know how to use it against the game. Same thing with like the siphon ability from last time in the last chapter, fighting the clone rakes, which can still be, as far as I remember correctly, used against them even in, you know, chapter 11. For those that might have missed that episode, or, you know, that chapter specifically, if you use Splatter Siphon on the Clone Rick variants, at least, yeah, any of them, I don't think it matters which version it is, you can essentially, if you mash it hard enough, you can essentially get your bar back from that 1 bar of Necro you used. However, if you have 3 bars while using the Siphon, it won't give you 3 bars back, it'll just drop you down to like 2, but it'll get you, it could also, you know, get you a little over that hump of 2. It's very strange how they do it. Also, this room is just a pain in the ass at the very start. Mainly because of the door, and mainly because of the Terratoids just ending up, you know, getting kind of too close to the door and not taking damage from it, but instead I take damage from it, and that sucks. But eventually, you know, once those guys are gone, these turds are going to spawn, and I still have a head left over, which is nice. So I can at least use this to my advantage. And these are the new types of Forgotten. And I don't remember what these guys are called, but I can tell you this. They have an ability which pretty much allows you to not attack them with normal means. You kind of almost have to attack them with weapons. And I want to say that this is jank. However, I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and say I don't know if it's completely 100% jank or not. But I feel like it is. I know earlier I just said, like, I understand the jank, but what I'm trying to say here is, if this is truly jank, then I do understand it. So, look at this. Even if you are to hit him with your fist, because at first it kind of looks like, oh, just use the AoE to do it. But, you know, you don't need just the AoE to do it. You can also just do this. You can actually hit them straight up with a heavy triangle attack. Yeah. Crazy, right? You don't even need... Like, you can't hit him with light. You can't hit him with light combos. You can't do that. You'll take damage. But you can use this heavy charged attack. And as far as I'm aware, I think it has to be just charged attack. Now, let me reiterate. I don't know if that's for sure jank or not. If it is, great. If it's not, great. That's fine. You know, either way. Still a lovable game. You know, still a great game by all means. It has its problems. It has its flaws. But a lot of the time, those flaws can be somewhat manipulated to make the game a tad bit easier. Unlike other games I played recently. I'm looking at you, Rare. Look, Rare games are a pain in the ass. I'm talking about Rare the devs. They seem to have a thing where... They've always kind of had this thing where they just kind of just try real damn hard to piss their audience off, and they do a pretty good job at it. At least they piss me off, that's for sure. And then people, you know, people gripe and yell about me getting mad at the game, which is just baffling. Like, if a game is going to be a dick and it's going to be bad, you know, even if I still like the game, I'm still going to give it shit for just being annoying. So, I like most of the games I play. And sometimes I kind of let off the idea that I really don't, but that's not usually the case. I try to I try to always look for the good in games rather than the bad. Hell, I'm the same type of motherfucker who will defend Sonic 06 until a certain point. Once you start doing silver missions and once you start doing that last wave, that last level of stuff, no, all the defending is going out. But I will defend the Sonic parts. I think those are relatively okay. And then if you really want to play a good version of Sonic 06, Project 06 is really good. Also, something I want to talk about real fast. By now, you guys might have noticed if you were, just watching along or whatever, because typically I don't really watch along. I just kind of just listen. But if you happen to have noticed, whenever you get grabbed by the new versions of these Forgotten, these Invincible versions, these red hot liquid magma versions, or whatever the fuck they're called, if you get grabbed by them and you try to get out of their grab, like of course they're doing damage while they're grabbing you. But the thing that's kind of irritating is once Rick, grabs them back, throws them on the ground, he's essentially still touching them and he takes damage from them. It's very minuscule amounts of damage, but it's still just annoying in the fact that even if you were to get grabbed, you would still take the damage after the initial grab of getting out of the grab, and it's weird. It's weird why they would just force that upon you, but if I had to guess, I would assume the devs didn't really program that part of it very well. They probably just either that or they just might have just intended that to happen. I don't know. I'm not the devs. I can't tell you what they were thinking, and then they're pretty much gone by now. I think they might have gotten I know they went out of business years ago, but they might have been put into other Bandai Namco stuff, maybe. I don't know, because I would think that would be the smart option, is just, if it's for like a publisher to do, if you have like a dev company that just fucking goes down, like a game just kills them, just take those devs and put them somewhere else, because that's talent. There are talented people that made this game, and it's just unfortunate to see they go to waste. I did hear something about the director, though, being kind of an asshole about Splatterhouse. I heard that every time that Namco wanted to see this game be made, because as far as I'm aware, Namco just kind of said, yeah, just make the fucking thing. Do what you can for the most part, but make it bloody and make it gory. I think that's what they might have said. But I think the director wanted to change some things around, and he made it, it's going to essentially make it worse. But then they fired his ass, I guess, or something. I don't know the full extent of the tale, but I remember not reading about it, but listening to that. I think it was from the What Happened to Splatterhouse video I got it from. I don't usually watch, I think it's Matt McMuscles, right? I always get his name confused with Mundane Matt, which is weird because I remember Mundane Matt from Rich of Review Tech, and I remember when I was younger, I used to watch Review Tech USA quite often enough to where I'd just listen to him and listen to his stories about stuff. And then he turned into a goddamn locale, and it's like, how does that fucking happen? Because for a while, I didn't really know much about locales, and at the time, I assumed he wasn't one. And then eventually, one day, it just clicked when I found locale stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know the typical ones, Chris Chan, DSP, Low Tier God, that type of stuff. And then, all of a sudden, it turned out that because I haven't watched him for like years, but it turned out that all of a sudden, he became a locale. And it's like, whoa, what the hell? I mean, I've seen that also happen before to somebody else, too. There was a Chris Chan, a Christorian, I guess you could say, somebody that would talk about, Christory, or just Chris Chan in general, and it was Dylan Thomas. Maybe you might be familiar with that YouTube name if you've been around the, Chris Chan block here and there. But I remember watching some of his videos before, and same thing like with Gibby, and then I guess Dylan Thomas just eventually turned into a locale as well, and it's like, that's insane, just seeing the metamorphosis of like people just completely 180 changing into something completely else that they were essentially, I guess, fighting against, or at the very least talking about, and it's odd. I mean, you want to talk about odd game, or not game, you want to talk about odd changes in character. I didn't watch them, but my brother did. It was the Game Chap and Birdie people. I think I might have said that right. But they're like an old YouTube channel that used to do a lot of Minecraft stuff. But then all of a sudden, they came back after a while. Or my brother came back and he showed me, and he's like, I looked him up again, and I saw that they've changed quite a lot. And then we looked at it, and it's like, oh my god, it's like just, asses in the thumbnail, just that kind of stuff, like trying to go on the sexual content the side of getting YouTube algorithm in their favor and what have you, or just making weird videos in general. And it's very bizarre. And it's like, I understand that YouTubers change, and then sometimes we get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. But I can guarantee you guys that when it comes to hardcoreing, I don't think hardcoreing's going to change. I don't think I'm probably going to change much, really. Just in general. I feel like I kind of know what I want, so I kind of just keep it that way. Even if the algorithm doesn't exactly give me what I want, but with the way that YouTube's changing, it seems to kind of work out, It seems to kind of every once in a while throw me a bone, but because I have been getting some new faces, so, hello, it's me, Hardcore. I do, of course, guides on this channel, and then, of course, I have a main channel. I call it my main channel because it basically, objectively, is my main channel. I would consider this one my main channel, but I kind of don't at the same time. This is my pride and joy. This is something that, even if I don't get hundreds and millions of subs, it doesn't bother me as much. It really doesn't. Because, on hardcore at the very least, of course I want, an audience to watch, but the way I see it with hardcoreing is that this is just a passion project, pretty much, that's been going on for years, and I kind of want to keep it that way, to be honest with you. So if YouTube blesses me with audience members, then that's great. That's just more people that can, tune in and see my weird running antics of whatever bullshit I pull out the next time. But for the most part, not only do I do this for entertaining the masses, so to speak, but it's mainly just to kind of entertain myself, too. I like doing these hard things, and I don't think that'll ever change, I hope. And speaking of YouTubers that never changed, I used to watch him a long time ago, but not anymore, because I kind of got tired of the same old shit. But there was, the Rad Brad, and it's funny how they consider him the greatest YouTube walkthrough guy, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that. That's kind of going far. You know what I mean? That's a little too far, in my opinion. I'm not saying that he's bad or I have anything against him, really. It's just, I wouldn't say he's the best walkthrough guy. I mean, there's plenty of other walkthroughs out there. I mean, I guess at a casual level, I can see that, because maybe sometimes people just kind of want more of a casual walkthrough through things, and, with a little bit of humor thrown in, but what do I know? There's a funny guy on the internets. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys in, I think, Phase 10. Also, double rig. So, yeah. See you guys then. Take care, everybody.